He's a man who has every right to enter the Guinness Book of World Records. During his reign, John Paul II quickly broke all the records set by his predecessors. In fact, just a few months after being elected Pope, he was nicknamed Hurricane Wojtyła. He visited 129 countries. He made 104 trips abroad and another 146 in Italy. He traveled over 1,200,000 kilometers, which is more than 3 times the distance from Earth to the Moon, or the equivalent of going around the world 30 times.
He launched himself with fervor and courage to all parts of the world. He visited over 100 countries, not for pleasure or curiosity, but to preach the gospel of peace of our Lord Jesus Christ.
He celebrated the biggest mass in history. It was in the Philippines during World Youth Day in Manila back in 1995, where more than 4 million people attended.
I remember the spokesman of the Holy Father at that time, he said, when he saw the crowd that gathered in the park, not even his car could go through. And we had to walk around 2 kilometers just to reach the place, the stage. And it was an event that was scheduled to begin at 9 o'clock. I think we began at around almost 11 o'clock, noontime. And the spokesman said, I remember the way he described it, he said, that World Youth Day gathering, he said, is an excess of success.
There were people behind some walls. They couldn't see anything. They didn't even have a radio to listen into. But they said, the Pope is here. I can't miss it. It was a testimony of faith, an embodied faith that was very moving.
But the Pope also celebrated smaller masses, like the one held before 200 people during a 1989 visit to the Nordic countries. He also held a mass in Azerbaijan in May of 2002. He became the first Pope to visit those places.
The Pope could no longer walk. It was a tremendous sacrifice for him to speak at that point, but he decided to go to Azerbaijan, where the total number of Catholics was less than 200.
The figures of his reign are impressive. He was the first non-Italian Pope in 455 years and the first Slavic Pope in history. His pontificate lasted 26 years and 5 months, the third longest after Pius IX and St. Peter. As a Bishop of Rome, he made 301 visits to parishes within that city. He held 1,160 general audiences attended by more than 17 million people. He also named 231 cardinals from all continents. He met with nearly 1,600 heads of state and government. No one else has ever led so many people in such a diverse cultural context. He held many catechisms for children, whom he called the Little Friends of Jesus. John Paul II was also the first pope to write a document for children. In this case, it was a pastoral letter. He was also a great writer. He signed more than 100 solemn documents, including 14 encyclicals, 45 apostolic letters, and 14 apostolic exhortations. Throughout the years, his speeches added to more than 100,000 pages. He declared more saints and blessed than his predecessors altogether. He canonized 482 people and beatified another 1,338.
John Paul II proclaimed more saints than all other popes together, since Urban VIII to Paul VI.
His vision of dialogue with people of all religions was innovative. He was the first modern pope to visit a synagogue, the first to enter a Protestant church and a mosque. He promoted dialogue with Jews and with representatives of other religions while calling for prayer and peace, especially in Assisi in October of 1986. These are all records that show the personal power of the Pope and his tireless dedication to the Church, a reign full of achievements that will mark forever the history of Catholicism and Christianity of the third millennium.